Let me start off by let me correcting you just a little bit.
Yes.
9 times.
Jey Uso's victory at the 2025 Royal Rumble was a moment that should have solidified his place at the top of WWE. His win was the culmination of years of growth, reinvention, and a compelling story of breaking free from the shadow of his family's legacy, particularly Roman Reigns and the Bloodline. However, instead of capitalizing on his success, WWE's poor handling of Jey's character led to his fall from the main event spotlight, leaving fans frustrated and disillusioned with how the company handled one of their most organically beloved stars. Missed momentum, WWE's failure to build on Jey's Rumble. When Jey Uso's trajectory leading into the 2025 Royal Rumble was one of the most compelling narratives in WWE. He had transitioned from being a tag team specialist alongside his brother Jimmy to a standout performer, breaking away from the Bloodline and establishing himself as an underdog babyface with a loyal following. The fans rallied behind him, not just because of his in-ring abilities, but because of his emotional journey of breaking free from Roman Reigns' dominance. His victory at the Royal Rumble should have been the moment WWE capitalized on that organic fan support. Unfortunately, that moment was squandered. Instead of following up on the Rumble win with meaningful character development and a compelling feud that highlighted his rise, WWE chose to focus on what seemed like a half-hearted and uninspired booking approach. Jey's promos after the Rumble win were lackluster and repetitive. He relied too heavily on a catchphrase that had worked during his babyface run, but it felt empty and devoid of the depth that had made his previous promos so compelling. WWE missed the opportunity to create an emotionally charged, story-driven narrative to elevate him to the level of a main event star. The booking choices felt rushed and superficial, and Jey's post-Rumble push quickly began to lose steam. Baffling booking decisions and wasted opportunities. One of the most perplexing decisions WWE made after Jey's Royal Rumble victory was his opponent at WrestleMania. WWE booked him to face Gunther, who was a formidable choice on paper, having established himself as an unstoppable force and the longest-reigning Intercontinental Champion. However, WWE failed to make Jey's feud with Gunther feel meaningful. Rather than presenting Jey as a credible threat to Gunther's championship, WWE booked him as an afterthought, with Gunther dismissing him as little more than a mascot. The lack of intensity in the rivalry was evident as Gunther's promos continually belittled Jey, while Jey's responses were generic and lacked the fire and passion that fans had seen from him before. This left the feud feeling one-sided and uninspired, with Jey coming off as a mere placeholder in a match that was supposed to be a major highlight of the WrestleMania card. Instead of building him up as a legitimate main eventer, WWE reduced him to a mid-card performer, thus undermining the legitimacy of his Royal Rumble win. The Bloodline drama, a step backward. Another key mistake WWE made was dragging Jey Uso back into the Bloodline storyline after he had spent months breaking away from Roman Reigns' control. His post-Rumble push could have been a fresh solo chapter in his career, but WWE seemed determined to keep him entangled in the family drama. They booked a segment where Jey was ambushed by Jimmy Uso and Solo Sikoa, a move that felt like a backward step in his character arc. Rather than allowing Jey to focus on his pursuit of the World Championship, WWE once again shifted the focus to his familial issues. Fans had already seen Jey's struggles within the Bloodline for years, and they were eager for him to carve out his own path. By revisiting the same tired storylines, WWE not only made Jey's push feel stale, but also alienated the fans who had supported him during his initial break from the Bloodline. His rise to the top was lost amidst the same old family drama, which did little to elevate him as a serious championship contender. Lack of spotlight and underwhelming promos. Jey Uso's booking following his Rumble victory was further undermined by his lack of presence in major segments. Unlike past Royal Rumble winners such as Cody Rhodes or Drew McIntyre, who were positioned as the centerpieces of WWE's major storylines, Jey was often relegated to mid-card matches or featured in the second or third segment of the night. WWE did not position him as a headliner, and even the promotional materials for WrestleMania failed to highlight his importance. Instead, much of the spotlight went to Gunther, Roman Reigns, and Cody Rhodes, while Jey's status as a top contender was downplayed. This lack of visibility only reinforced the notion that WWE did not see Jey as a legitimate main eventer. His loss of momentum was a direct result of not being given the proper spotlight, and his matches and promos failed to capture the same attention that they had before his Rumble win. The company's failure to fully invest in his character made it clear that Jey was seen as just another mid-carder, and as a result, fans quickly lost interest in his story. Fan backlash and WWE's ignorance. The negative fan reaction to Jey Uso's treatment was loud and undeniable. Instead of addressing the frustration of the fans, WWE doubled down on its mistakes, continuing to book Jey poorly and failing to give him the redemption story that he deserved. Fans expressed their disappointment online, with many criticizing the company for squandering Jey's potential and wasting a golden opportunity to create a new top star. Rather than listening to this feedback and course-correcting, WWE allowed Jey to flounder, booking him in throwaway matches with no meaningful build. His character development stalled, and WWE's failure to protect him from the criticism only further eroded his standing with the audience. The once promising star who had captivated fans with his underdog journey was now struggling to regain relevance in the eyes of the WWE Universe. The demise of Jey Uso's main event. Push, a case of WWE's priorities. Ultimately, Jey Uso's downfall after winning the Royal Rumble is a direct result of WWE's inability to commit to long-term storytelling and their focus on nostalgia and established stars. While Jey had the support of the fans, WWE's decision to prioritize John Cena's highly anticipated heel, turn over Jey's rise to the main event, further highlighted their preference for bigger, more established names. Cena, with his mainstream appeal, was always going to dominate the headlines, and WWE was more interested in capitalizing on his return to villainy than in building a new star in Jey. Additionally, WWE's historical preference for larger-than-life characters hurt Jey's push. Despite his incredible in-ring abilities and emotional connection with the fans, Jey's size and lack of over-the-top charisma meant that he didn't fit WWE's typical mold for a main-event superstar. WWE's preference for larger-than-life performers, such as Roman Reigns or Brock Lesnar, made it harder for Jey to break through the glass ceiling, even though his story was far more compelling than many of his counterparts. The forgotten star. Jey Uso's post-Rumble decline. After WrestleMania, Jey Uso was all but forgotten by WWE. He was hardly featured on major cards, and when he was, his matches had no meaningful build. WWE's decision to phase him out of storylines after his Rumble win was a betrayal of the organic fan support that he had garnered. Instead of following through with a major push, they left him to wither in creative limbo, reducing him to a mid-carder with no clear direction. The lack of faith WWE showed in Jey was evident not only in his booking, but in the way the company marketed his story. The Royal Rumble victory, which should have been a defining moment for his career, was instead relegated to a footnote in the broader storylines surrounding Cena, Roman, and others. The failure to capitalize on Jey's popularity and momentum became a glaring reminder of WWE's inability to seize opportunities when they arise. Conclusion: the wasted potential of Jey Uso. Jey Uso's downfall after his Royal Rumble victory serves as a cautionary tale about WWE's approach to talent and storytelling. What could have been a defining moment in his career became a missed opportunity due to poor booking, lack of character development, and an overall lack of commitment to building him as a top star. His rise to the top was organic and supported by the fans, but WWE's inability to capitalize on that momentum resulted in his relegation to irrelevance. The failure to push Jey Uso as a legitimate main event contender not only hurt his career, but also sent a message to fans about WWE's priorities. When given the chance to create a new star, WWE chose instead to focus on established names and nostalgia, ignoring the potential in front of them. Jey Uso's story should have been one of triumph, but instead it serves as a painful reminder of the missed opportunities in WWE's creative process.